All right. Welcome back to the I Made My Mark podcast. Today we have Sara with us to share a little bit about their time at JMU. Sara, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. My name is Sara Penrod. I use she, her pronouns. I'm currently a fifth year senior, so this is my fifth year here at JMU. And I've got a double major in health sciences and biology, and then also a minor in pre-medicine. And I'm born and raised here in Harrisonburg, so I loved it so much that I decided to stay, an extra 5 years.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that.
Mhm.
And while you've been at JMU, where have you made your mark around campus?
So the first place I made my mark was with a program here at JMU called Overcoming Barriers. It's part of the Empowerment 3 program that the kinesiology department with Dr. Tom Moran puts on. And so through that, I've facilitated and taught swim lessons to individuals who have disabilities or who are underserved, like immigrants or people who are English language learners here. I've also been an RA for 2 years, and then now I'm a hall director, so I oversee my own staff of RAs, which I've done for the past 2 years also. Um, I also was a career educator with when it used to be called career and academic planning. So I did resume reviews for a year, which is really cool. I also am a volunteer at our university health center here. So I work in the lab. And my job is like to process a lot of the in-house tests that students get when they come in when they're sick. And then I think the last thing that I do is I'm a research student with Dr. Tim Bloss over in the biology department. So a whole host of things that I have made my mark on and have helped to make me who I am here at JMU.
Yeah, that's awesome. You definitely got yourself in a bunch of different areas. So that's really
Yes,
cool.
yes.
Yes, awesome. And kind of going off of that,
Mhm.
throughout all of these involvements or just your experience at JMU, I'm sure you've learned a lot. What
Yes.
does JMU mean to you?
So I think if we break it down into two words, just like broad overarching, to me, it means growth and opportunity. And so starting with growth, I look back to where I was 5 years ago as a freshman moving into my dorm on campus. And I don't even know that myself then would recognize me now. I was super shy and a little bit socially anxious. So I didn't like trying new things. And my anxiety for trying new things prevented me from doing that. But then once I made that step to join Overcoming Barriers that second semester my freshman year, it kind of gave me the confidence to move on. And really JMU's opportunities, which I guess ties into like what I said, my second point was opportunity has enabled me to be the person I was today. And so I think additionally, going to the opportunity part, I had I'll be honest, no idea really that any of these other organizations or groups existed on campus. I think as a freshman, I pretty much saw the really big things student ambassadors and the Greek life and maybe safe rides. But other than that, I was people say there's all this stuff, but where is it? But so then once I kind of had dipped my toe in the water with Overcoming Barriers, then it was along the years, just a whole host of things just opened up and opportunities were given to me. And so that's, yeah, definitely growth and opportunity or what JMU means to me now, looking back over these past 5 years.
Yeah, that's awesome. I feel like a lot of people feel that way when they come here. It's
Mhm.
I know there's a lot to do, but where?
Right. They say, go to student organize. There's 300 organizations, but still it's okay, but how do I get involved? And so,
Mhm.
yeah, for me, it just took the one to be oh yeah, I can totally apply for this. This is great, and then it just kind of snowballed in the best way from there.
Yeah, I definitely get that. And so you've had all this success at
Mhm.
JMU and really had that opportunity here.
Yeah.
So what are your next steps after graduation, and how are you planning on bringing JMU with you through this next chapter?
Right. So right now I'm in the process of applying to medical school. So all of the activities that I listed that I'm involved in or have been involved in kind of come together to make me as a whole applicant for medical school. And
Mhm.
so med school is very rigorous, and the application process is almost even more so. And in the past years, they've kind of moved away from we just want like an applicant with really good grades. They also now want applicants who are involved and can give back to the community and be a part of something greater. And so all that JMU has given me and all of my experiences, like 100% will directly benefit me as an applicant trying to get into medical school. But so the application process takes about a year. So in that year, I'll have like a gap year essentially to work. And because I've got a double major and I have worked in a clinical lab, like in a healthcare setting, and in a research lab, like a benchtop lab, I have options for what I can do for my gap years. So I could work like at a state laboratory, or I could work in a health system, or I could be like a front desk person, So that too, like the skills that I've learned here definitely will benefit me in whatever job I end up applying to. And then more immediately, actually, this summer, even after I graduate, I'm going to be going on a study abroad trip with JMU professors and students to Japan for a month. So I wasn't able to study abroad with my schedule and then with COVID beforehand. And so I thought, well, I'm graduating, but I'm still a student now. So let me see if they would still let me go with them. And they said yes, And so even this summer, like after I've graduated, JMU will still be helping me to explore the world. And that's definitely going to be something that I remember for the rest of my life.
Yeah, that's awesome. Japan. Oh my gosh, that sounds
I'm
incredible.
so excited. It's going to be great.
Yes, I definitely bet it will be.
Yes.
Awesome. And can you tell me just like throughout your entire JMU experience, if there's
Mhm.
one memory that sticks out, what's your favorite memory from JMU?
Yeah, sure. So I started being an RA my sophomore year. And for anyone who doesn't know, I guess RAs, we come to campus 2 weeks before school actually starts, 2 weeks before the residents start moving in to do training and to meet your staff and stuff like that. And so we were having one of these like staff team bonding sessions with icebreakers and all that kind of stuff that everybody rolls their eyes at. And I hadn't met any of my staff members before I came I came to training. Like that was my first time meeting them. So there was this girl who I was paired up with for this one icebreaker. Her name is Lindsay, and it was the game where the two people are sitting back to back facing away from each other. And so I had a piece of paper with an image, printed out on it. And then Lindsay had a piece of paper with like a pencil or a marker or whatever. And I had to explain to Lindsay without showing her the image, like how to draw it, and so that we could see if she could make, like a copy of the image without me telling her what it was.
Mhm.
And I am so sure. I mean, it was a long day and training was really long. And Lindsay and I, when we're tired, both get pretty grumpy and frustrated pretty easily. So I think we were kind of at our wits' end, and we're sitting down having to do this, like what in our opinion at that time, like probably stupid icebreaker. And I am really bad at describing things like images or stories with words. I'm much more of a visual person.
Mhm.
And so I was getting frustrated that I felt like I wasn't doing a very good job of describing this image, which was an elephant, to Lindsay. And Lindsay was getting frustrated because she knew that I was giving her a horrible description of what this image was. And so then, time was up, and we put the printout and then Lindsay's drawing side by side. And it was so horrible. It was so bad. It, like, I guess it kind of resembled an elephant, but like it was so bad. And we looked at that side by side, and it was like all the tension like that we had from that day just like snapped. And both of us and the rest of our staff absolutely lost it. And so the reason that's my favorite memory is because Lindsay then goes on to become my first true best friend that I make in college. And that's, I think, kind of like the first memory that I have of the two of us laughing and, really breaking the ice. So the icebreaker worked. And I still have a picture of the comparison side by side drawing, but that's something that both she and I look back on fondly. But that really is, kind of the story of like how I met my best friend here on campus.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, of course.
I feel like the shared bond of like going through
Yes,
something like that.
yes, absolutely. That was 100% it. And we're still best friends to this day.
That's awesome. And you're kind of talking, there's like a theme I'm sensing of just, lessons learned throughout your JMU journey.
Yes.
So if you could give a piece of advice to underclassmen, just
Hmm.
from what you've learned, what would it be and why?
Get involved. 100% be involved with something. I And I think it's okay if you're not getting involved, your first semester here, or even your first year, because Jamie is a really big place. And I do understand that it can take a little bit of time to, like feel like you're settled in. But I think really I didn't know, like, I don't want to say true happiness at college, but I didn't feel like I really fit in until I had started getting more involved. And um, even if you only do something for 1 year or one semester, if it interested you at first and you tried it, like that's great. And you met at least one new person um, through that engagement. And I think that it just really is beneficial to put yourself out there and connect with more people. And it really kind of makes you feel more at home. And hopefully, at least one thing sticks, or you meet one good person out of it. But I think that it's really great to, even if you have to force yourself at first, like I did, to put yourself out there, like get outside of your dorm, get outside of your friend group on your hall, and meet some new people, because it definitely, it doesn't hurt to try that, and you're probably going to get something really great
Oh yeah, definitely. I think that's really great
from
advice.
it. Thanks.
And throughout all these involvements that you've had and like you
Hmm.
really got involved and put yourself out there, what do
Yeah,
you think is the most important mark that you've made on campus and what will your legacy be when you leave?
I think that, and I guess I'm kind of going to answer those two questions sort of as if they're one.
Yeah.
I think that my legacy is not, it's not just one thing that I did, or one semester, or my engagement in one organization. I think that my legacy is a culmination of all the different little marks that I have made on campus over the past 5 years. And whether that's an interaction I had with a resident, or a decision that I made behind the scenes, or a test result that I completed in the lab at the health center, or um, a piece of data that we gained from an experiment, that I did with Dr. Bloss, or a mentee that I taught how to do backstroke or something. I think it's like a bunch of little things that I do every day that are part of my everyday routine that kind of add up. And all of the interactions that I have with people, whether or not they know that it's affecting me, or whether or not I know that it's affecting them, I think is kind of my legacy. So I think it's sprinkled along over these past 5 years, but uh, I guess what I'm hoping is that everybody that I've interacted with, and who I've had involvement with the different organizations, can say like, oh yes, like this is Sara, like this is what she did, even if it was this one tiny thing, but like that's who she is.
Yeah, that's awesome. Those little things do really add up. And I feel like
Hmm.
even just talking to you, I can definitely see how that's been built into kind of your JMU story is just
Hmm.
making sure you impact everyone in at least a little way.
Yeah, it's been like little building blocks that we've added like day by day or week by week. And looking back now, it's made this like giant castle, or whatever building you want to envision, that I've built along the way.
You built AUBC along the
Yeah.
way.
I don't know about that, but maybe close, maybe close.
Right, awesome. Well, it was so great getting to meet you today, Sarah, and talk
Thank
with
you. You
you.
too.
Your JMU journey has been incredible. And so, us at the Student Leadership Center, we want to thank you so much. And we wish you the best of luck after your JMU journey. And we hope you know that your JMU family is always going to be here to support you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right. Have a great day.
Yeah, you too.
Bye.
Bye.